Disabled veterans of the Iraq War already have braved insurgent attacks and the improvised explosive devices, the IEDs. But few are prepared for the nerve-wracking experience of dealing with the VA system. The government is trying to hack away at a backlog of almost 500,000 disability claims while marshaling more injured soldiers through its bureaucracy.
I started Vets Help because I did not want to have all the new veterans go through the same mess that we had to go through after Vietnam, falling into the black hole and taking a long time to climb out.
Academic experts and veterans advocates say the VA is facing unprecedented stresses due to the conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan and is ill-equipped to handle the influx of returning soldiers.
Disabled veterans are artificial people. They're creatures of our government. Government decides to go to war, and they are the consequences of that action.
Beyond the paperwork hassles and delays, there are serious gaps in medical care, especially for treating traumatic brain injuries and psychological problems that have arisen from extended deployments and stressful ground warfare. One of Vets Help's primary goals is to fund badly needed research in traumatic brain injuries, known as TBI, and multiple chemical syndrome, known as MCS, also known as Gulf War Syndrome.
There are a number of issues that affect the families when the veterans return home. There's the multiple chemical syndrome, which is the exposure to the different chemicals which actually deteriorates and can destroy the brain, the lower part of the brain, and can cause paralysis and death in veterans. There are infections that can be passed on to the families that the families otherwise don't know that they have. And there's also the impact of depleted uranium, which is a major issue right now.
Animal experiments at Duke University Medical Center show that the harmless doses of 3 chemicals, DEET, permethrin, and an anti-nerve gas agent, pyridostigmine bromide, that was used to protect Gulf War soldiers from insect-borne diseases and nerve gas poisoning are highly toxic when used in combination.
Before we had the development of the Gulf War syndrome, I would have said this probably is a reasonable thing to do, because all 3 of these hazards are real hazards, and I don't think there was any ill intent in giving these 3 drugs. Now, we're very suspicious at this stage of the game that the combination did things that each one alone did not do.
They said the findings may explain the wide array of symptoms reported by an estimated 400,000 Gulf War veterans, of which 40,000 have already died prematurely.
You know, I'd rather have caught a bullet from an AK-47 than gotten injected with this stuff. At least I would have known what my fate would have been. You know, am I going to be alive 2 years from now, or am I going to join the ranks of some of my buddies that are passing away?
You know, it's a lot of unknowns that we come in contact with that we find out 10, 20 years later, hey, we got this. And where did it come from? You know, just help these guys.
Vets Help, in partnership with the State University at Albany and Dr. Carpenter, is facilitating the consolidation of research being conducted by independent laboratories all around the country. These research facilities will be funded to work together in helping to find ways to help the veterans and their families.
And that goes beyond simply illnesses that result from exposure. It includes the issues of their psychological well-being. It includes the issues of, do they have a job when they come back? Do they have a place to live? Are they capable of holding a job so they have an income so they can be productive members of society?
As to another of Vets Help's goals, the organization is currently planning to create communities for the traumatically injured returning veterans in a supportive environment so they can buy their own affordable, well-built homes designed especially for the disabled vet and their families.
What we're doing is establishing communities throughout the entire country for the disabled vets and their families. Within those communities, we're also going to offer vocational training for the veterans to allow them to get back into the workforce, and for those who want to be entrepreneurial, to help them get into business for themselves.
Vets Help is currently in agreement for building their first community in New York. One of the other sites under review at this time is just outside of Birmingham, Alabama, with more communities to be built all around the nation. Robert M. Lee, who is one of Alabama's leading entrepreneurs and philanthropists, would like to make available to Vets Help 14 acres of his land to make this possible.
Simply as Americans need to take a look at ourselves and say, we've got to do something, we need to do something, we're going to do something.
Vets Help, as part of their fundraising efforts, will be creating and acquiring television shows, films, documentaries, scripts, music, and creating a concert series to entertain and make known to the public the issues related to returning from war.
The government created them. Otherwise, they'd be film producers, accountants, shoemakers. They'd be something else. But no, they were put into harm's way and they were crippled. And the government made that.
But it's hard to set a soldier up for life. It's hard to mend the wounds for life. It's hard as heck to actually say, hey, I want to care for the soldier for life. And when you have organizations like Vets Help doing some or facilitating this need, then that says a whole lot.
What I want is for the veterans to come back, to be accepted back into their family again, to be able to be part of the family and not be a reason that the family falls apart.
For more information about vetshelp.org, please go to their website at www.vets-help.org.